guys, my name is Megan, and this is the If I Could Only Keep 20 Books tag for you. Alright, so this is the If I Could Only Keep 20 Books tag. So basically, if you could only keep 20 books out of all of your book collection, what 20 books would you keep and why? These are the 20 books that I would keep because they're all amazing and, you know, sometimes it's really hard to pick, so let's go ahead and just dive into the 20 books that I would keep. Okay, so the first one is Lady Night. This one will always and forever have my heart. This is like the closest book that I have to a favorite book, and I will never give this one up, ever. Next up, another book that has my heart is The Last Sun. This is the first book in the Tarot Sequence series. I have a full thing of why you should read this book series that I'll leave linked up in the corner. I love the story in this. It's queer, it's got adventure, it's urban fantasy, it's got a really cool tarot card based magic system that's just fantastic, and it's got found family, like literally accidentally adopting a teenager found family. Next up I have I'll Be the One. This is one of my favorite queer books, even though it doesn't look like it's queer. It's following a fat protagonist as she defies everybody by joining a K-pop mixed idol search show and basically proves everybody in her life wrong, and the love interest is also bisexual, so that's really great. Next up we have Therapy Game. If you guys know, this one like just took over my life at Valentine's Day last year, and I could not put this manga down. It's so good. There's so much drama between Shizuma and Minato, and I love them to pieces because they're just idiots in love that can't admit that they are actually in love. It's also got a bisexual awakening in it. It's just fantastic. Next up I have another book that really like stole my heart late last year, and that is On the Ice. This is one of my favorite hockey romances. This one has a demisexual main character, and like there's explicit on-page demisexual representation. Also, this one's got a little bit of an age gap romance in it, and I really love the way that the romance develops in this book. It's so good. Next up is another favorite graphic novel, and that is On a Sunbeam. This one has just the softest queer story as well as just fantastic artwork, and it's about finding love, losing it, and finding it again. And I can't with this artwork. It's so gorgeous. It's one of my favorite science fiction stories that I've ever read, and I cannot recommend it enough. Okay, so next up I have Fugitive Telemetry. This is the 6th book in the Murderbot Diaries. Currently, Murderbot is just one of my favorite characters. They are agender, asexual, and aromantic, and they are just trying to watch their media shows, their soap operas, and also deal with their clients running off on them and like getting into trouble and just like trying to protect them. And the found family aspect that is in this book series is unreal. It's so good. Okay, so next up I have White Trash Warlock. This one is an urban fantasy adventure with queer characters and like a lot of scheming and fae creatures and ghosts and a lot of trauma and like family drama and just like a road trip adventure from hell. Next up I have the Scapegracers. This is one of my favorite YA books. It's following Sideways, who is a witch who's kind of like the outcast of her school. Nobody really pays attention to her unless she does magic tricks for them. And basically the popular girls hire her to do magic tricks for a Halloween party for them. And they basically adopt her and try to get her a date. And like this girl gang is feral and unhinged in the best possible way, and I love them. Next up I have In Strange Woods. This is a like Northwest Gothic murder mystery set on the coast, or set on the Oregon coast, and it's fantastic. It's got murder, it's got family secrets, it's got surprise siblings, it's got all of the best things that I love about the Oregon coast kind of mixed into this beautiful dark story. It's so good. I believe I have a book review on this that I'll leave linked up in the corner. So next up I have Blank Canvas. This is the 2nd book in the Irons and Works series. This is by far one of my top favorite books in the Irons and Works series so far. It's following Sam, who is disabled and uses a wheelchair, and his fight to adopt his niece. And like the trauma that he's going through with the state over her adoption, and of the unexpected love life that Sam develops. And it's just a really, really fun story. It's great. It's like emotional. It will make you cry. Honestly, it's one of my favorite stories. Next up I have Taproot, another favorite of my graphic novels that I will not shut up about. This is following Hamal, who is a gardener, and it's following Blue, who is a ghost. And Hamal can see ghosts, and it turns out that he is a necromancer and uses his connection to the earth and plants to help the dead move along, and also maybe becomes a necromancer to help bring them back. So next up I have Wild Blue Wonder. This is a book that it deals a lot with grief and the grief over a loved one. And this is one that I read at like just the right time because I was dealing with my own grief over somebody who had passed. And this book, I felt so connected to this book. And it's just one that I can't ever see letting go. Next up is Wolf Song. This is the first book in the Green Creek series. This was one of my first introductions to indie romance books, even though since this book has come out, it is now picked up by a traditional publisher. I love this book. It is so emotional, but also filled with so much fun and urban fantasy goodness. It's following a pack of werewolves who just kind of start adopting people, and it's a big, huge found family, but also there's a lot of trauma and a whole bunch of other things that will make you cry. But yeah, this is one of my first introductions to indie romance, and I would not give it up for the world. Okay, so next up I have Psycho. This is the second book in the Necessary Evils series. As much as I love Adam and Noah, I think I just connected so much with August and Lucas's story. This series is following a family of psychopaths and like how they were raised to be upstanding members of society and only killing people who need to be killed. And this one has a little bit of an urban fantasy, paranormal romance thing going on because Lucas, the love interest in this, is a psychic and his powers are real, and like he helps August with his newest case, and it's just a fantastic story, and I could not recommend this series more if you're into dark romance. Okay, so the next one was a really, really difficult pick for me, and that's going to be Cherry Picked. So I love the Sunday Brothers. You guys have heard me gush about them nonstop since I started reading their books, but I had to go Cherry Picked, which is the last book in the series currently, because it just had such a fantastic payoff because you've seen it, the romance between Hawk and Jack from the first book all the way through to their book, and it has the best payoff that I've had in a romance series. So good and just like the best. Next up I have Charisma Check. This is the second book in the Roll for Love series. This is like a true enemies to lovers. Like these two hate each other on sight from their first meeting. And I love that they finally find this softness for each other, and they just, develop this relationship, and it's fantastic. Also, the fact that cosplay is in this book and it's nerdy, it's just fantastic too. Okay, so next up I have Bite Me. This one, I have 2 copies of this book now, and like I cannot stop talking about it. This is an urban fantasy, and it's got all of the things. It's got a demisexual vampire main character. It's got a disaster plant dad main character, and all of the drama and all of the things. This book is just fantastic, and it gripped me from like the first chapter, and so much so that I was reading the ebook and I had to have the physical copy because the physical copy has artwork in it, and like I couldn't live without the artwork in my life. Next up I have Best Laid Plans. This is one of my favorite Rowan Parrish books. It's so sweet, and these characters have totally different lives, and they clash in really unexpected ways, and they fall in love, and it's just so sweet, and they're building a house that turns into a cat shelter, and like, I'm here for it. Okay, and the last book that I would have to keep no matter what is Role Model. This is the 4th book in the Game Changer series. As much as I love Shane and Elia's book, and as much as I love the other characters, I have to go with Role Model because Troy and Harris, their relationship was built from the ground up in all of the different, like, their relationship is my favorite. It's just so sweet and kind, and like, you can tell that they are just learning so much about each other, and yeah. All right, so that is it for the 20 books that I would keep if, you know, I could only keep 20 books. What are some of the books that you guys would keep if you could only keep 20 books? Let me know down below. If you guys like this video, don't forget the like button. If you haven't already but would like to, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to follow me on social media for more bookish stuff, check out the links down below. Alrighty, bye guys.